Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your resident nutritionist and podcast host, John Kowaleski here. My guest today is a group member, a husband, a father to three young ladies, a nutrition and fitness coach, an athlete, and an all-around great guy. I'm sure most of you have seen this post in the group, and I'm excited to have him with us on the podcast. Please welcome Cody Smith. Cody, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing great. The group's growing. I'm staying busy. I know you're staying busy. So between that
Yeah,
and family, it doesn't get much better, right?
that's absolutely right. Totally agree there.
I hear you. Okay, buddy. The first question I got for you is, what got you into fitness when you were young? Because I remember you saying that you started when you were like 15 years old.
Yeah, so just all growing up, I'd like to think I was relatively athletic. I mean, for a short white guy, but I was my genetics didn't lend me very well to carrying some muscle. So, teenage years, I was soft and, going through school and stuff, I don't want to say I was like picked on, but, I got some comments here and there. And so I think I was about 14 or maybe even 13, and I got some weights. It was like a tiny bench with a tiny barbell, and it had those little clasps that you spun.
Uh-huh.
And I would just kind of mess around in my basement, reading Muscle and Fitness and Arnold's bodybuilding encyclopedia.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh yeah.
lifting a little bit. And then when I was 15, I got a membership to Gold's Gym. I think you had to be 15 because I had to have my mom come in and do it for me. So I got a membership there, and I just, started lifting, and then, played football in high school and stuff like that. And, ever since, I've been consistently lifting weights and working out. I'm obviously with, a little bit of time off here and there, mostly for either the recovery aspect or life just, life gets crazy.
Oh yeah.
But it's been, I'm 33 now, so it's been 18, 19 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now you said I remember you saying something about you actually competed at one time.
Yeah, so I've done 3 bodybuilding shows, and the last one was, let's see, about 7 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started personal training. I was obviously, way into bodybuilding at that point,
Right.
and I had I had a decent physique at that time, and so I remember a couple of my friends had competed in bodybuilding. So I'm like, you know what, I'll give that a crack. And I did a few shows over the span of like 4 or 5 years.
Uh-huh.
So, I've done a lot in the fitness space, from one like realm to the other with bodybuilding and functional fitness, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting. I've had a decent amount of experience with all of those little, subsets of fitness.
Right, right. And you were into CrossFit at one time too, or still are? Because I remember you
Yeah.
got you to own a gym at one point.
Yeah. So in 2013, me and a friend of mine had opened a CrossFit gym, and that was my life for the last 6 years or so. And then after a little bit, I was just looking for a change. And so earlier this year in the spring, I stepped away from that and have been just coaching remotely since then. But yeah, CrossFit was a really big part, not just, operating and coaching and doing all the business side of stuff, but, I really fell in love with the model, and the training that CrossFit does. But right now I've kind of moved back away from that a little bit. And in my own work and my own workouts, I've really been kind of going back to more bodybuilding stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know I personally spent a lot of time when I first got into fitness and I first joined a gym and was trying to get healthy. I adapted the bodybuilder, the workouts, the
Yeah.
diet. I ate 6 meals a day, every 2.5,
Oh,
3 hours. I did all
oh
that
yeah.
stuff, and it was really efficient in, me getting rid of a lot of the body fat that I had and whatnot. And for me, it was all about health. I was trying to get off of diabetic medicine. I found out I was a type 2 diabetic, and I got to the point where the doctor said, okay, well, you don't have to be on medicine anymore. And I was like, well, shit, this is no good. That was my goal. That's what I wanted to do. What am I going to do now? And the doctor was like, well, you're a pretty big guy and you've done fairly well for yourself in the gym. She said, why don't you try doing some bodybuilding? So I was like, okay, it seems kind of funny to me at my age, but what the heck, I'll do it.
Right.
And that's still one of my goals. And I don't care if I'm 60 years old, I'm in my 50s now. I'm going to compete in a bodybuilding competition before it's all said and done. It's one of the things I want to do. So I completely understand, man. I know exactly what you're saying. There are so many aspects to fitness out there, and
For sure.
and you can take little bits and pieces from each of those aspects and build a healthy lifestyle without a doubt.
For sure. For sure. There's no one way, and I respect whatever someone's into. I mean, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
whether it may not be like my favorite, protocol in terms of training, but if that's what you like and it's serving you well, then by all means have at it.
As long as you're doing something and you're not just sitting on the couch eating bonbons, we're in good shape.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me what it's like to balance all that you've got going on in your professional life and having a wife and 3 daughters, because I can relate a little bit. I'm a father of 5 and a grandfather of 2, so I know. But let me hear from you what it's like for you.
Yeah, man. And it's tough. And when people think of balance, you almost think of it in terms of like splitting time equally. And I don't really look at it like that. It's more of the quality, right, than the quantity of time. And it's hard. It's nice because both my wife and I are at home. And that's also hard on, in other aspects of it. But I only train now like 3 days a week. All I'm trying to do is maintain some level of fitness, and not kind of atrophy away. So I don't spend a lot of time working out, more just trying to obviously build a business from scratch, as well as hang with the kids and do stuff that they like, and try not to get, stressed out of my mind on most days, and, be the patient dad that I should and can be. So it is tough. I mean, I'm no different than anyone else. It's hard to find that balance, but it's the quality of the time that you spend in everything, business and with your spouse, with your kids,
absolutely,
with friends.
Yep.
So
there was a guy that posted in the group. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but it was just this morning, and he was talking about that. He's like, he says, I'm working 12-hour shifts. I'm working all these hours. How do you guys find time to spend with your family and not feel like you're being taken advantage of? Because when you do spend time with your family, it's minimal at best, and you're spending all your time working. And it is tough. It's extremely tough. My job prior to this was I worked factory work. I was a machine operator, and I worked sometimes 16-hour days. And then I was training 5 days a week, and it was difficult. It was extremely difficult. I didn't see my wife. I didn't see the one son that I still have at home. It can be really tough. And that is one of the things that I like about the group, is that so many of us have the same struggles. And it's, most people think of guys and they don't think that, well, guys just do what they have to do and they don't need a support system. And I think that's absolute bullshit. And that's one of the things that this group offers everybody in a real, real good way.
Oh yeah. I mean, all the resident coaches, yourself, Jerome, Matt, Chris, Emo, Philip, like I love everyone's spin on stuff like that. No one's one extreme or the other. And that's a big thing with me as well. It's like, just find your balance, and it doesn't necessarily equate to hours spent. It's more of the quality, because when I had my gym, and for 6 years I was there, oh my gosh, 12 hours every day at least. And then when I got home, I was like spent. And so just trying to, give your family the time that they deserve. I mean, they haven't seen you all day or whatever it is. And you gotta suck it up, because at the end of the day, and at the end of your life, that's something you'll definitely regret if you spent all that time just not being present.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember when I was growing up, my dad was a lot like me. He worked a lot of hours, and we literally never saw him.
Yeah.
And I sit back now and I think about all the time that he was always gone, and it makes me think about my relationship with my kids and the fact that it doesn't matter how busy I get, doesn't matter if I've got an hour and a half left in a day, that I can sit down and spend some time, whether it's, sitting down and letting my son kick my ass in video games because I don't know how to play
Mhm.
them, or whatever it is. It's just a matter of finding the time, whatever the time is, and making the
Yeah.
most of it.
Yeah, and you might not be up for it. It's like, hey, Dad, let's go do X.
Hmm.
That might be the last thing you want to do, but you're
Yeah.
gonna do it anyways.
Oh yeah, because trust me, there's nothing I enjoy about Fortnite when all I do is my feet hit the ground and somebody shoots me from behind. There's no joy in
Right,
that. You know what I'm
right,
saying? It's just,
for
but
sure.
but the fact that he wants to sit there and laugh about it because Dad got shot in 30 seconds, that's what it's all about.
No doubt, of
Yeah. So,
course.
um, I'm gonna throw a little curveball at you that we didn't discuss. Tell me some about CrossFit, because I myself don't know anything about it. I've had joint issues, so I had a tendency to stay away from it, and I know a lot of the guys in the group don't know much about it. So,
Yeah.
give us a little rundown.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's very misunderstood.
Mhm.
And CrossFit is an affiliate model, so it's not a franchise. So every gym can basically do whatever they want in terms of the workouts and how they operate the business and intake of new members, everything. It's all just completely up to you, essentially. And I mean, my gym and my partner, it was a little different because we both had backgrounds in like personal training. He was a big speed and agility guy. He's like a strength coach for one of our professional rugby teams that we have here in Utah.
Okay.
And so I took it from, one of my certifications through the NASM was a corrective exercise specialist. So I really look at movement like in a different way,
Right.
especially with Olympic weightlifting and some of the stuff that you do. You really have to have adequate range of motion. Someone has, joint issues, then they're going to be, kind of off doing their own thing. So, I mean, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but
No, that's
CrossFit
fine.
is very misunderstood. And the legit affiliates, I would just suggest, if anyone has questions about it, I would just say find a gym that's close to you that has good reviews. Maybe they've been around for a while, and go check it out, because it's not what everyone thinks. Everyone thinks that every single workout is like for time, or all they care about is intensity, because that's what we see with like the CrossFit Games and stuff that's on
Mhm.
TV. Those
Right.
people are those people are professionals in that sense, right? That is their job, is to competitive exercise. Like that's all they do. But
Gotcha.
we work with, I mean, just normal people,
Yeah.
who get, they, whatever, for whatever reason, maybe they're sick of just the normal commercial gym scene,
Hmm.
and they want something different, or one of their friends comes. It's just the group aspect is what is probably the best, and it's so
Right.
cliche, but the community is really what gets people involved. And like we said earlier, as long as you're doing something,
Yeah.
like that's all that matters,
Oh yeah.
and the whole kipping thing and Olympic weightlifting for time, which we never did that, because
Right.
I'm smarter than that.
Hmm.
We would periodize the programming. We would make sure someone was ready for whatever movement or whatever load or whatever it is.
Hmm.
We wouldn't push people to obviously do something that they weren't capable of.
Gotcha.
So it's
Yeah, I think that's real important too. I mean, and it doesn't matter whether you're doing CrossFit or just going into the gym and doing whatever. Matt Griffiths touched on it here not too awful long ago. A foundation is critical. Consider your body just like a building. You've got to have a good, strong foundation before you can advance on into other things. Now, I will say that what I have heard about CrossFit is that the camaraderie and the community aspect of it, like you're talking about, is something that really tends to draw people. And in today's age, it doesn't surprise me, because it seems to me, at least, like we're becoming a lot more social than we used to be. I'm in my 50s, so I remember back in the day where, if you were around a gym, you went in there and people weren't hanging out looking on their phones and talking to other people. They went in there, got their work done, and got the hell out. And now, with things like CrossFit and other aspects, social media, all this different stuff, it's a whole new game.
Oh, no question. And like I said, I mean, we were a little different just because the CrossFit gets a bad reputation because all it takes for you to open an affiliate is your level 1. Okay. And so that's a seminar, which I will comment on this. I've done a lot of education. I went to my college for exercise science. I've done multiple certifications through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and both CrossFit seminars I went to, the level 1 and the level 2, I got way more out of those 2 weekends than I ever did, in terms of formal education or doing my certifications through online, because it really teaches you the application. But anyway, back to my point. So it gets a bad rap because technically all you need is a level 1. You don't have to have background in exercise physiology, anything like that. You can just open a gym. And so that's where everyone thinks, well, all these unqualified people are running gyms, which can be true, but those gyms don't last very long.
Right.
And, we were a little different because I had already been personal training at that time for like 6 years. And my partner, he had done the same for probably even longer than that. And so we had a little different spin on CrossFit. CrossFit is technically, like a relative term. It's up to your interpretation of basically what it is.
Right. Yeah. And I think another reason it got a bad rap too was so many people jumped in there when the whole craze started happening and really started getting popular, and people were hurting themselves.
Oh yeah.
And it was probably due to those people that just had level 1 certifications or whatever and didn't really know what they were doing, and they were letting people go out there and do things that would hurt them.
Right.
So
for sure.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Last question I got for you is, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but if you could sum it up, if you sit back and you look at the Dad Bod Transformation Group and its journey and your time in it, what would you say is the one thing you like most about the DBT group?
Man, just the support, from resident coaches like yourself and all the other guys, and just other coaches like myself who have their input. Emel's always on there, throwing his 2 cents in there. But for the most part, like, everyone's just really supportive. I've seen a few comments here and there that, it maybe weren't the best to make, but everyone's just there to help, and you have a lot of, you go to any post, especially the ones, with questions, and the whole thread is just nothing but support and, someone with their anecdotal experience, or people posting studies, referring to whatever it was that was posted. But it's just the support, man. Everyone's there to help each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest aspect to me. It's I tend to call a lot of people brother, and I use that term, but I use it because as far as the people that I know from the group, it's like a brotherhood. It really is.
For sure.
So it just kind of comes natural to go to that place. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh yeah.
So
it's pretty good.
All right, man. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for me. You got anything else you want to add?
No, that's it, man. Thanks for the invite. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. I sure do appreciate it. What's up?
It's actually the first podcast I've ever done. So,
well, I tell you, I'm relatively new at them too, and I'm playing around with different formats and whatnot, and trying to get things straightened around. But I figure the more I do it, the better I'll get.
Exactly.
So, all right, man. Well, like I said, I appreciate you coming on the show, and maybe we'll talk and do another one and talk about some other stuff.
Perfect. Sounds great.
All right, man. Have a good day.
You as well.
Bye-bye.